Have you ever heard a song that just like grabs you from the first second?
Oh, definitely.
And it tells the story that's so specific, so kind of wild, you just have to listen.
Yeah, those ones that are like mini movies.
Exactly. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into one of those songs. I Write Sins Not Tragedies by Canic at the Disco.
A classic.
Right. Our mission here is really to dig into all the fascinating layers behind it. It's so much more than just a catchy tune. We want to give you the inside track on, why it hit so hard and why it still resonates.
And we've got some great stuff to pull from.
Yeah, we've been looking at excerpts from the official music video transcript and also the Genius lyrics page.
Which is fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
Full of lyrics, annotations, lots of behind-the-scenes details.
Totally.
And I think what's really striking is how this song tells such a, complex story with some pretty surprising ideas packed in. And yet it became this huge cultural thing. So this deep dive, it's kind of your shortcut to understanding why it resonated.
Yeah.
And how its meaning is still sort of shifting.
Yeah. So let's jump right into that story. The narrative that just kicks the whole thing off.
That drops you right in.
It really does. Oh, well, imagine as I'm pacing the pews in a church corridor, you're immediately there. And the speaker says he can't help but to hear an exchanging of words.
Yeah, eavesdropping, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And what does he hear? A bridesmaid talking to a waiter. Starts nice enough. What a beautiful wedding. What a beautiful wedding.
Standard wedding chatter.
But then, bam, the scandal drops. And yes, but what a shame. What a shame the poor groom's bride is a whore.
Wow. Just like that.
Yeah.
Talk about immediate conflict.
Seriously. What's the effect of starting a song like that? With such a bombshell.
It's an instant jolt,
Yep.
right? It sets up this conflict, this secret that's suddenly very public or at least overheard.
Yeah.
But then the speaker doesn't just listen. They chime in with that iconic line.
Haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door?
Exactly. It's so theatrical, almost intrusive itself. And our sources point out this is tied to the speaker wanting to face things with a sense of poise and rationality.
Which is interesting because poise and rationality isn't maybe the first thing you think of when someone yells that line.
True. There's a very specific kind of rationality, maybe.
But then, verse 2 hits you with a real curveball. Despite finding out about the infidelity, the speaker declares, technically our marriage is saved.
Which is unexpected, to say the least.
Totally. And it leads straight into, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne.
So the saving isn't about fixing the relationship, it seems.
It feels more like the exposure is the salvation. Like, okay, the secret's out, the deception's gone, so let's celebrate. It's this really strange, rational approach to what seems devastating.
It flips the whole idea of tragedy, doesn't it? It's almost darkly comic.
Yeah. How does that rational take change how we see the whole situation?
Well, I think it perfectly sets up that almost vaudevillian, darkly whimsical tone the music itself has.
Okay, good transition. Let's talk about the sound.
Yeah, the music behind the sins. It's track 10 on their debut album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out.
Right, came out in 2006, was it? Produced by Matt Squire.
Yep, February 2006. And the sound is so distinct.
It really is. What makes it stand out so much, musically?
Well, you've got that cello right at the beginning. That immediately gives it a different feel, kind of classical almost. But the really standout instrument, the one everyone remembers, is the accordion.
The accordion. Yeah, that's definitely not typical for like pop punk or emo back then.
Not at all. And it gives it this unique texture. We found out guitarist Ryan Ross apparently loved the accordion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big fan of movie soundtracks that used it. He specifically mentioned Amelie and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, you can kind of hear that influence then, that slightly theatrical, whimsical vibe.
Exactly. And, besides the main writers, Brendan Urie, Ryan Ross, Spencer Smith, you had Brent Wilson on bass, Spencer on drums, Ryan and Brendan on keyboards too. He's really that whole combination creating the sound.
So you've got the dramatic cello, the quirky accordion. How did those choices really create that signature, like, Baroque pop feel? It's almost theatrical.
I think it just leans into the theatricality of the lyrics. That slightly off-kilter story needed a slightly off-kilter sound.
Makes sense. It sets the stage perfectly.
But the layers don't stop there. Even the title, I Write Sins Not Tragedies, has a story.
Right. Where did that actually come from? It's such a memorable phrase.
It's not just something they made up. It actually comes from a novel.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Douglas Coupland's Shampoo Planet. There's a line from the main character, Tyler Johnson, that goes, "What I write are not sins. I write tragedies."
So they flipped it. Interesting.
Yeah, they reversed it. And that title, it's like the key to the song's whole philosophy, isn't it?
How so?
Well, by calling it sins instead of tragedies, it frames the infidelity differently. A tragedy just happens to you as unavoidable crushing.
Right.
But a sin that implies choice, agency, someone did something.
Okay, I see.
And in the song's weird, dark humor, calling it a sin maybe gives a perverse kind of control. It turns this potential despair into a situation that's somehow saved.
So it's shifting perspective from being a victim of tragedy to maybe an active participant in, well, in the sin.
Kinda, yeah. That reframing is right there in the title. How does knowing that change how you hear the song or think about the characters?
That's a good question. It adds another layer, for sure.
And that literary connection is cool, but the song's journey didn't stop there. It became huge.
Oh, yeah. It was pivotal for them. How did it actually become their big single? Was it always planned that way?
Not exactly. It was actually the first song they specifically picked as a single for radio.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Brendan Urie told this story about being on their first tour. They were only halfway through, and they get a call from management saying, basically, hey, radio stations are playing like 5 different songs from your album.
Wow, okay. That's a good problem to have.
Right. But management said, you need to pick one single so we can focus on that and build it.
Makes sense.
But apparently there was some resistance in the band at first. Like, one member was supposedly like, fuck that, we're not going on the radio.
Ah, really? Against radio
I
play?
think so initially.
Yeah.
But Dory was like, no way. We are not turning down a chance to be on the radio.
Good call.
Yeah, especially if we get to pick the single. And they chose I Write Sins.
And that choice clearly paid off.
Oh, massively. Did you hear about his story of hearing it on the radio for the first time?
No, tell me.
He described this moment of just pure euphoria. He was in a friend's car. They were driving down Santa Monica Boulevard,
Okay.
and the song comes on KROQ.
Yeah.
But at first, he didn't even recognize it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Own song.
Yeah. He said he heard it and thought, that sounds familiar. Oh, shit. Then he apparently just rolled the window down and yelled, this is me! This is me, California!
That's amazing. What a moment.
Totally. It was clearly that breakthrough point, launching them way beyond their initial fan base.
Yeah, you can see how that would feel huge. And from that moment, I mean, the song's legacy just grew and grew.
Undeniably.
How would you describe its impact now? It's still probably their most famous song, right?
Absolutely. It's considered the Panic song by so many people. And think about all the covers, too. Fall Out Boy did one. Lots of bands have.
Yeah, its influence is huge.
But that popularity also led to this kind of misconception we should probably talk about.
What's that?
About Brendan Urie hating the song.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. He used to joke about being sick of it live, didn't he?
Exactly. He'd often say things like, God damn it, I'm fucking tired of this song on stage. There are even video compilations of it.
Right. So did he actually hate it?
Well, no. He cleared that up in an interview, I think it was with Billboard in 2016. He said, straight up, I actually don't hate. I write sins, not tragedies.
Okay, so what was behind the onstage comments then?
He explained it was mostly humor that maybe didn't always land right with everyone.
Ah, okay. Tone is hard sometimes.
Yeah. And he also talked about how playing songs live changes their meaning for him over time.
How so?
He said, seeing fans, new fans, and old fans singing old songs back to me makes the songs continue to grow.
That makes a lot of sense. The audience reaction gives it new life.
Exactly. It shows that complex relationship an artist can have with their biggest hit. You know, it takes on a life of its own.
Yeah, it really highlights how a song isn't static. Its popularity comes from how it adapts and keeps finding meaning, both for the artist and for listeners over years.
It becomes a living thing.
And that kind of brings our deep dive on I Write Sins, Not Tragedies toward a close. It's just, well, it's remarkable how much you can unpack from one song.
Really?
You've got the drama, the narrative, the specific sound choices, the literary reference, that whole journey through fame.
The artist's own evolving feelings about it. It's a lot.
It really is.
And, you know, what's really interesting is how the song takes this very public, kind of embarrassing moment
Right.
sin and spins it.
Right, into a saved marriage and a toast.
Exactly. So maybe here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Consider those moments in your own life, the sins maybe, or just perceived flaws, embarrassing times. Could taking that poison rationality approach, as the song puts it, even ironically,
Yeah.
could it transform them? Could they become these unexpected moments that maybe lead to something new, even a weird kind of celebration?
That's a provocative thought. Like, how might reframing a tough situation actually change its outcome for you?
Worth pondering, maybe.